Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for stopping by to visit with me again today. If you're new here, let me introduce myself. My name is Jess, and I live on the southwest coast of Florida along the Gulf of Mexico with my husband and our two teenage sons, who will be, as of next week, they will be a sophomore and a junior in high school. I know, right? Already. We'll talk more about that later. Here on the channel, I talk mostly about my knitting, but also occasionally I will have some crochet projects, spinning, sewing, and maybe some travel to share with you. So if you'd like to join me, then please come on in, get cozy, maybe grab a beverage, one project, two projects, maybe that one that's been hanging out in the naughty corner for a while, and let's chat. This is episode 23. Hello, friends, and welcome. I'm so glad that you've decided to come back for another visit. If you're new here, again, welcome. You're so welcome to join us all. And if you need it, you will find in the description box for this episode all of my contact information and also links to my Ravelry project pages and any other makers that I mentioned here as well. If anything is missing or you would just like a little more information, you can drop me a comment in the comment box or send me a message at one of those locations that I posted there. And I would love to also know what you're working on, whatever your craft might be. What are you working on while you're joining me here today for a chat? What do I have for you today? Well, let's start off with the weather, right? Let's get settled into our visit before we get to all the good stuff. It is hot. It is hot here already. I think it's been exceptionally hot the last couple of days. Yesterday before noon, when you took the temperature along with the humidity level, while we're not at summer humidity levels yet, it was still much more humid. The real feel temperature was 100 degrees Fahrenheit. I'll put the degrees Celsius up here on the screen because my brain doesn't want to do a quick conversion for you right now. So we've been mostly in the low 90s Fahrenheit, but the humidity is creeping back in. My plants are not happy with it. The grass, people are trying to cut the grass, but now it's getting a bit brown and crispy. So it's hot and the bugs are out. So it is basically summer hibernation season has begun. Now, during the summer, I basically don't go anywhere unless it is outside, unless it's just to get in and out of my car for going places or the swimming pool. That's pretty much it. Otherwise, it's hiding in the air conditioning for survival purposes. Now, that does cut into being able to go walking and knitting because with that humidity, right, yarn and needles in humid weather just doesn't really work. Plus, holding it in your hands, especially wool, it doesn't work so well. However, there was an exception this morning. I was sitting outside while it was a little bit cooler, so maybe it was in the upper 70s to 80, but it was sticky, wet. It was still damp. And I realized, I am working on metal needle tips with a fluffy, fuzzy yarn that I'm going to show you in a little bit. That really helped give me that little extra bit of stickiness so they didn't slip around as much, but it wasn't sticky, impossible to work with. So that was great until everything was getting a little too damp and I had to come back inside. So that's how it is around here. Hopefully Mother Nature is treating you well wherever you are, whether it's heating up or, as I'm hearing from reports up north, it's changing every day between seasons from day to day. If you're in the Southern Hemisphere, is it cooling down? Are you getting ready for the cozy in season with a nice little fire and warm drinks and your knits next to you, or whatever your project might be? You don't have to be a fiber lover, yarn lover to be visiting here with us today. Any craft. If you don't craft and you still just like to watch, you're welcome too. Everybody's welcome here. I don't know why I'm holding on to my cup. I have water in here, sparkling water seltzer, because I've had enough coffee this morning. And this is in a mug that I got for my youngest son. I got this from Polly Studios, which is a potter located in Kentucky. I will link them below. I bought this at the New York State Sheep and Wool Festival last year. We love this movie, so I showed it a picture to him and said, "Hey, look at this, isn't that funny?" And then he expected me to have purchased it for him a year ago, and I didn't. So I had to make a beeline for the studio first thing one of the days in the festival last year to make sure I could get it. Anyway, where was I going with all this? I don't know. Friends, the brain. It's hot. It's the end of the school year, although I haven't been doing any work this last week because I am not paid on contract over the summer unless I want to teach an extra class. And I did not want to teach an extra class this summer because we're going to travel. I wanted just the time off. So I will have to do some work later, class preparation, but let's not talk about that stuff. That's work. Let's talk about the fun stuff, the fibery stuff. So what do I have for you today? I actually have knitting, crochet, and sewing to talk about, and a little bit of upcoming travel. I'm not going to go on about the travel, just travel, filming, recording plans, episode plans to talk about. Hopefully I remember at the end. So let's get into it. My one and only finished object this week are my socks for the Farmer's Daughter Fibers Sock Squad for 2025 using the May colorway. Those April socks, they're still in the naughty corner right now. They're just hibernating, and they're going to stay there for a while. Maybe they'll knit themselves while I'm away. So as a reminder, this was the artwork inspiration for May. This artwork is by Land and She, and as a reminder that this is on the Bighorn sock base. The color is called Spring Bear, and the yarn is inspired by things you protect. So as a reminder, these are the colors here. So Spring Bear is the main color, so that's the color back there. And then the black is the contrasting mini. I used 40 grams of the main color and 17 grams of the contrasting color to make my socks. So here are the socks, all finished, not blocked on a sock blocker for you, but I'm probably not going to block them. I'm just going to wear them. So let me tell you a little bit about these. I worked them on 2.25 millimeter needles, my ChowGoo red lace needles, magic loop style. I knit the 72 stitch, it is 72 stitches in size. And I did a bit of a mashup of patterns. Basically from the cuff to the heel flap is from Summer Lee's Totally Rad Ribbed Socks. Then I just worked a standard slip stitch heel, but I did it really for a 64 stitch sock size in terms of the length, because even though my foot is somewhere between a 64 and a 72 stitch size, but because this is a 3x1 rib pattern, I just stuck with the 72 stitch size. So they're a little more cozy socks. They're not very tightly fitted, which is fine with me. They're not sloppy. They're not going to flop around, but they don't have a lot of negative ease, even with the ribbing here. All right, from the foot down, I just continued this ribbed pattern in Summer's pattern design. They stop the ribbing here when you start the heel flap and work the whole foot in stockinette. But I really liked that ribbing and wanted to continue it, and plus to have it maybe pull in a little bit so I didn't have to decrease stitches for the foot. And then for the toe, I worked a rounded toe following Nancy Wheeler's rounded toe instructions, except that I went, ooh, it's getting away from me. I went a little bit smaller, I think until there were only 10 stitches left to fit my foot length. So I wear a woman's US 8.5 or 9 shoe, depending on the width. And I usually choose the sock size that has about a 9-inch circumference for the negative ease. My circumference is between 9 and 10 inches. So that's where, again, I'm between sizes, but I didn't feel like doing any modifications. These were just happy knitting. But I love these socks. I absolutely love them. So there's the slip stitch heel. I didn't work one round plain first before starting the slip stitches. I could have worked a couple rounds plain so that you don't get, when you slip, you get the blue in there, but I didn't. I just didn't. It's fine. I really love these socks. Now I actually finished them last night, but and worked the toe, but I left the stitches that needed grafting until this morning because it was nighttime and this is black yarn. So if I'm gonna graft it, I need light, better light. Yes, I have neck lights, but I just left it till this morning and it worked out really well. I didn't make any mistakes. It's amazing. So I really love these socks. And I think with these tie with January socks for my favorite so far. I knit the January socks, the DRK Everyday socks, which are a toe-up pattern, all ribbed with the fleegle heel. I really love those socks. They fit really well. This is my cuff down sock, but I love, these two are my favorite colors so far out of the subscription. So we are into May, so who knows what we'll get now for June and the rest of the year. Be interesting to see what Candace, the owner of Farmer's Daughter Fibers, pulls out of her magical dye pot. That's really weird. That's what I said. Now, the thing is, I know this is upcoming things, but it's related, is that I'm not going to be here for June. So I'm hoping maybe, just maybe, I get lucky enough that the June sock set ships early. And even though this is a long holiday weekend, it is the Memorial Day weekend here in the United States. So Monday is like banks are closed, schools are closed, no mail delivery, that sort of thing. That maybe, though, I will still get my June yarn before we leave next Friday. I know, it has happened. We do get mail that day, so okay. Anyway, if it does, it can come with me. But otherwise, I won't be making my June anything until I come back. But let me show you the art for that month in case I'm not filming anything to show you. So here is the artwork for June. This month's yarn is inspired by the dual self that exists within. It is on their Highwood sock base, and those are the recommended patterns. For some reason, I'm shaky today, even before I had my coffee. So sorry if that was bouncing around for you. So I haven't looked at any of these yet, but I'm thinking I might make, depending what it looks like, and if I want to make socks, I might make the Coffee Talk socks by Tracy Miller, because I haven't knit any of her patterns yet, but I've had them in my list to knit. So we'll see. Okay, that was my only finished object this week. Let's move on to works in progress, or works that were in progress and are now going into the timeout corner. Let's start with that one first, and then we'll work up to the happier news. So the one I'm referring to is a crochet project. And there's nothing wrong with the project, nothing wrong with the pattern. I love it. I was hoping maybe I would be done before today, but I hit a little snag with my internal self. What did this say about the dual self that exists within? This is me already in May. So let me show it to you. So far, where are we here? That's the front, the back. All right, so if you're not familiar with it or I haven't shown it in a while, this is the Amiata Pullover. So there is, get this down. There's the pattern, show it up close. Hopefully you can see that. So I did finish the sleeves this week. Both sleeves are done. So this is crochet, but I have done the ribbing for the cuffs and the neck knit. And then I've used the Italian sewn bind off for both of those. And I really like the look and the way it turned out. It was very easy to do. However, it's the hem that's giving me a little bit of the dilemma. So I will put a picture up here from the Ravelry project page of what the hem looks like in the pattern. The instructions are very clear for doing the crochet pattern. So I went through all of that to try to see how I can convert that into knitting, knitted rib. So I did this setup row that you need to do, and then I picked up stitches all the way around, knowing that in order to keep those curves, I'm going to have to do some decreases and then some increases. And that's where the trouble is kind of coming in, because I have to play around with that. I'm not really sure what the rate should be, how it looks, do I like it? I know I could just rip back if I don't like it, but I'm not sure I want to play that game. I don't know if I want to keep trying it, rip it out, keep trying, rip it out, or not. But the alternative, of course, is to just do the crochet ribbing as in the pattern, follow the instructions, and get it done. Why haven't I chosen that, you might ask? Well, I've already done the other ribbing and knit, so it would be nice to make that knit as well. Although I have to say the way that the designer has done the ribbing here looks a lot more like knitted ribbing than a lot of the other crochet ribbing I've done. But I really, really dislike doing crochet ribbing. I can't explain to you how much I dislike it. So that's one of the main stumbling blocks. I just really don't like doing it. So do I want it done more and just suck it up and get it done? Even though I'm not enjoying it, maybe I would enjoy this method. Or do I just keep going and ripping back? So let me show you, see if I can show you where I am. Let me show you the undone side. So you do the front first, and then you do the back. So if I hold it upside down, you kind of see this side is not knit yet. This is the back, and this was the front. So the front came to about here. So you did a high-low hem as much as you wanted. On the other side, you pick up stitches and start knitting here. Here is the inside corner, and then it comes out and around. So it's a shorter version of this, where you have to kind of maintain this for a bit, although that will close off after a while, so that your ribbing comes up like this and fans around. So obviously you need to do some increases to get around this corner and some decreases here. So I've been doing that, but I'm not sure I'm very happy with it. And I got so fed up the other night, you can see I stopped in the middle of the row. That was it. I couldn't even get to the end of the row. I just threw it down. And that was it. Not dramatically, but it went down. So see if I can find. So there's the corner. I know it's still on the cable, so it's hard to see. So I think I've been doing okay from, let me give myself some slack. Here. So on the pattern, the ribbing would have started here and then gone out or run like this, with the ribbing running like this. So I'm doing one by one ribbing along, decreasing in this corner, but I'm afraid it's going to make this too short over here. I'm not sure. And I don't know that I'm increasing at a good rate here around that corner. And I just don't know if I want to keep ripping it back. Anyway, that's my dilemma, is what to do with this hem ribbing. So at this moment, it's going in the timeout corner. And either I will make a decision before we leave and hopefully finish it, or it'll be here waiting for me in July. So it's almost done. I love it. It's a great sweater. I just need to get over that and figure out, that duel needs to come to an end, and I need to just get over it, make a decision. So let's move on to the happier things, shall we? Let's move on. To the other whips. All right, so those, I don't think last time I showed you. Oh, I just realized I didn't show you my other finished object, which is a sewing project. So we'll put that after the knitting, especially in case you're not interested in the sewing content. I think last episode I edited out my whole section about the Alex sweater. So I'm going to show you that progress here today. So this is a pattern by Libby Johnston, who's known as Truly Myrtle. And still on my nails. I am working on the body. Here it is. I love it. I love this green color. If you see the line across here, this is where it was on the cable and I blocked it lightly on a mat just to see, check my gauge and the fit. That's when I noticed that the V on the stitching on the front looks very different, very high relief on one side, low on the other. Fortunately, Livy Johnson, as part of Wardrobe Toolbox, which I am a member of, she has a Q&A session monthly. And so I submitted my question to her about this to get her insight, right? She's the pattern designer. Does she have any idea of what I may have done or not done that has come out looking like that? Just, I'm going to live with it. It's fine. It's fine for me. It looked worse in the photo laying flat than it does holding it up. And it was great. She got back to me about it. She covered that in the live Q&A, which I watched later as a recording. And she felt that it was probably the slip knit stitches, SSKs, that were probably causing the issue, which is probably correct because I can see that it's about flatter and I've got some really kind of loose legs there. Now I started doing a different SSK method that I tend to use a lot that looks really neat, but I think part of it is I've kind of tightened up on my knit two togethers and I don't get things tighter when I do the SSKs. But Livy went through on a swatch the various ways that, you know, the kind of original way that people did slip knit or SSKs, and then up through, including a couple like the ones I've done, and then the one from Patty Lyons' book, Knitting Tips and Tricks, the one move SSK. That one definitely looks really tidy, so I'm going to practice that one and see if that makes a difference, doing the same chart just to see how it looks. But I already got it onto the side body. So, so there's the armhole, knit down the sides, and when you get to the side body, you pick up those traveling lines again to make it. And I think they, for some reason, show up better there and on the back of the sweater than they did on the neck for me. So I'm not sure why, although I can see it here too, right? They're a bit more loose. I decided to just keep going ahead. They look fine. I might actually try it now that I'm still on the sides because they're just growing, because those are going to come all the way out towards the side because I want to get this finished. I would like to get the body and hem complete before I leave town so that when I come back, it's very clear where I need to resume. I will need sleeves and a neckline instead of stopping partway through and maybe your gauge changes, right? I'm trying to avoid all that. So that is the goal, is to get the body finished before we leave town. So I need to get on with that. I better get on with this episode so I can work on this pattern. But I really, really love this pattern. It's well written. It's really interesting construction. There's not a lot of times where you're just mindlessly knitting. I mean, you get the pattern and think, okay, I know what to do. And you can just go along and you don't have to pay too much attention to some like rest rows, but it keeps your interest. And I love this yarn. This is the yarn Eros from Skeins. And I talked about it before, and it will be linked in the description box with all of my project pages and makers that I talk about today. So I will link them in the description box. So that one I'm actively working on. I really enjoy that pattern. And that brings me up to my last work in progress, which is also a new acquisition. As a side, I'm not going to talk about the Hey Sailor top. I think I mentioned that last time. I haven't worked on that at all, so that is going to get packed in the luggage to take along to work on while we're traveling. And then I can look for buttons, because there are a lot of places I can look for buttons in London and the other areas we'll be visiting. So that's coming in my luggage. So you won't see that for quite some time. So new acquisition, new cast on. A little bit of a backstory. I'll try to keep it short. So if you watch Finnish knitting stories, you're on YouTube. And if you don't, you should go over there, watch it now. You stop here and go and watch her episodes. They're great. Jana is a yarn dyer. She has a small yarn shop in, well, I say small, but independent yarn store in Finland, known as Kettu Yarns, or is it Kettu Knits? I will link her below. Anyway, you will find her. Anyway, I am also a member of Jana's Patreon group, and in that group, we were chatting about one of her recent finished objects, which was the, I'll put it up here, the Boxy Raglan Cardi pattern by Joji Locatelli. So I won't talk about her backstory for that pattern, but in this discussion, I talked about how much I loved her, that pattern, her colors in that pattern. I was just so happy. And I was talking about, I'm not a pink person. At least pink's not one of my favorite colors. I'm not averse to pink. I just don't tend to gravitate towards pink. As a kid, I hated pink, absolutely hated pink. But I said, that's what was weird, is like, I absolutely just love the look of that cardigan in those pink tones. And I said, oh, I'm not a pink person, but however, I have a pair of bubblegum pink sweatpants. And whenever I wear those, only in the house, they're not my go out in public pants. Whenever I wear those, they do just kind of lift your spirits because they're bright and they're just happy. They just have this happiness to them. So Jana was saying, oh, she thought I needed to make a similar, or make a fluffy pink, some sort of pink cardigan, cozy thing to go with my pink sweatpants. So I took a look at that cardigan pattern, and I love Joji's patterns. They're really easy to follow. They're really great patterns. And Jana has suggested some substitute yarns to use for that pattern. And so Mother's Day, I went online that night. Might have something to do with the cocktails I also had that day. And I went online and looked for some of the drops yarns. Now I can't get them here locally, and I don't know many people that sell it here in the US, but we can get it from online from Denmark through Linde Hobby, which I did. I ordered, it came in like 10 days. I mean, they shipped it almost instantly, and even through the US Postal Service and going through customs, I got it in about 10 days. I was amazed. And the price point is really good. Right, so what did I get? First thing I was looking at was the Drops Melody, which is a bulky weight yarn. It is alpaca wool with a polyamide core. So let me see if I can pull out a little strand to show you. It's like that. So it's a fluffy, fuzzy yarn that works up at a bulky weight. So I thought, I'm gonna go for the pinks. Let's do the pinks. And so looking at the colors on the screen, of course, it's always a challenge, and especially shipping online and overseas. I'm not gonna just go, oh, let's go get another ball. So I thought, all right, we're gonna go for this one. This is color 17, which according to the company where I purchased it, it is called Hot Pink, but it has a different name on Ravelry, some sort of something rose. But I think even online it was called Hot Pink because it's a hot pink. And so I wanted, instead of a white as the other color, I wanted just a paler version of pink. So it's a little less contrast. And the closest one I could find was this one. But to me, this has a sort of lilac-y purple color, gray, a little, not as bright and happy. I was looking for like that ballet slipper kind of pink, right? Very pale, barely pink. It isn't a cool tone, but it wasn't quite what I was looking for. I wasn't sure on screen. So I bought some of this, but just to cover my tracks, I thought on screen that the brushed alpaca silk, also from Drops, was a bit brighter pink. And I think you can see, oh yeah, you can definitely see it here. And that is how it looks in person. Well, they're not purple. I think it comes up purple on screen. It's definitely a pale pink, but it is a cool pink. But anyway, this one is definitely lighter than this one. But however, this does have wool in it. And so that wool, I think, is giving it that slightly darker tone to it. This also has a core of silk, which gives it a little bit more luster. This is much softer than this one, although this isn't scratchy, but this is definitely softer. So I ordered enough of this, which is classified as a worsted weight when you knit it up. So I thought if I hold this double, it'll definitely be at a bulky weight to use. So I got enough to hold this double, although that meant that the mounts I ordered, this had to be the main color and this has to be the contrast color instead of the other way around, where this isn't the pop of color and just a few stripes. It's the main color framing my pop of lighter colors, which that's fine with me. Now, actually, this is so soft. I really wish I had ordered all of it in this yarn in this color. But you know what? I can make another one, and I have ideas about other colors to put together. So anyway, this is my combination. So the brushed alpaca silk is 71% alpaca, and what does the rest come out to be? 29% silk. So it equals 100%. So those are great. So that's what I'm working on. And let me see if I can show it to you so far. It's really hard to hold up because I have haven't split for sleeves yet. Maybe I'll show you the back. Okay, there it is so far. It always comes up a bit more saturated on screen. I think it's a bit lighter, more delicate in person. And of course, the camera wants to add contrast to it, but there it is. So it's not quite as intense saturated as this. It's close. It's brighter in real life, I guess, put it that way. So there's the front. So it is worked flat. And you do a couple of sections where you just change the rate at which you're making increases for the front neck, because it is a V-shaped neck, for the sleeves and for the front or back edges. But this is what I knit on a bit yesterday and just a couple rows this morning. And I really love it. I'm working with my metal Chagu needle tips. These are US 9. I did go up a size from the pattern needles, which is not normal for me with Hohi's patterns. Normally I knit exactly the same as her gauge and everything. But I think this is one where trying to substitute yarn can be a little bit trickier. Once you get to things that are worsted to bulky and really trying to get a similar lightweight but works up to a different gauge kind of yarn, I think these are great substitutes, but being that it's mostly alpaca, I also know that it's more likely to stretch out lengthwise rather than widthwise, so I can block it more aggressively widthwise if I really need to. But it's meant to have, I think, between 10 and something inches positive ease, like 10 to 12 or 10 to 15 inches of positive ease. So that is where it is right now. This is my very happy knitting. Okay, that is it for my works in progress, all my yarn fibery content at the moment. So let me just share with you one of my finished sewing projects, and then I'll just talk about some future plans. So I received my copy shop patterns from that I had ordered. So I have two other patterns from Sew Liberated. So the metamorphic dress that I talked about last time is from the company Sew Liberated. I will link them in the description box. I also have the Hinterland dress pattern. I have not made that yet. And the Petrichor Pinafore. That is what I have made, and I will show that to you here. So my first wearable version of Petrichor Pinafore is this one here. I'm all tangled. I'm not sure what color. That's probably the right color there on my screen. This is a rayon linen blend. So you can kind of see that here. I think in the light it has really nice drape to it. So here is the front with the inseam pockets down here. I don't think I can show them to you very well. It's really hard to do. I'm not going to stand up or try to model it for you here. There may or may not be some footage in here of me showing it to you on. I can't guarantee, but there's the inseam pocket. And here is the back. It has just one pleat. These pleats up here up the back. So I didn't modify anything for the pattern. I made the size 8 I've learned that I do have to go down in their sizes because I did a little bit of math to work it out, but I still just went with the down a size from what I thought I would need based on the pattern measurements. But it finally dawned on me that they say in the pattern that it's written for, they always tell you the height. So I think it's 5'5", which is my height. So we're good there. Before a C cup. I am not a C cup. So I did do some little math on looking at your full bust, your circumference, your cup size, and doing the math and seeing, okay, in the pattern, what size would I make then? If I needed this for a C cup, what would it mean for me? That still didn't quite come out. So I just went with, on my sample practice dress, I did that size and I loved it. I think the only thing I might change on this one, so I didn't change anything, and I love it. It is meant to be thrown over something. It is a pinafore. It's not meant to be worn as a dress with all the, you can try to modify things, but they don't have patterns for dresses. But that's not the intention of this one. So I think this side seam here is opening. I think I said it's designed to hit at your waist. And in this one, and it could be just because of drape and the weight of the fabric, because it's stretchy compared to my test piece, which was a cotton, is that I might bring that one up, another one up just a little bit, maybe about like 1.5 inches up the sides, maybe, to really bring it up to my natural waist. So I think it just stretched, it stretches a little bit more weight, but I don't dislike it. I do want to shorten the straps because even my husband pointed out, I said, oh, maybe I'll shorten it. If I do that, it brings the front part up too high, and I think it actually sits perfectly where it is. So I don't want to change the straps. But I am really happy with it. I just have to figure out what else to wear with it. At the moment, it's just tank tops underneath it. I'll probably use it as a throwover over a swimsuit around the pool or at the beach. Because of the color, I didn't have any options. This was what I had at JoAnn before they closed their doors, in a nice rayon-y linen blend, but I really love it. It could also say fall. If I put on black leggings under here, I feel it's a little Halloween. So I need to find some different leggings to wear underneath here, and not white ones either. But yeah, I really love it. It's a really good pattern. I don't think I had to look up doing anything. Oh, I did do, I did a French seam down the back, which I love. That was on the pattern. The pattern just says finish the seams as you like them. But for the back, because that's in 2 pieces, I love that look of a French seam. So I did that there. But for the side seams, I just did a kind of overlocking zigzag stitch on my sewing machine. I don't have a serger or overlocking machine, but I'm hoping that'll be enough to keep the fray down. Yeah, because I couldn't really do those other seams on here because otherwise it would have cut the pocket short. But I really love it. And so I'm really happy with that and looking forward to making another one. I have some black linen that I think will be perfect for the next one. All right, that's it for all of my projects today. I don't know if I'll be filming another episode before we leave next week. And I'm not sure if I'll be recording anything for posting as a vlog style while we're away. I will be taking footage when we go out and about to places, and depending on a lot of factors, like the storage abilities of my phone and being able to edit and upload and things like that, I may or may not be able to share things while I'm away. So if you don't hear from me in the next month, that's why, but I will share some of the footage, especially the fiber related footage, when I come back in July. But if you are subscribed to the channel and you've clicked on the bell and selected the, is it all, to be notified when I post something, you can do that, and then you will know if I have posted anything while we're away. Thank you again so much for stopping by and visiting with me. Until I see you next time, I hope Mother Nature treats you well. I hope you get lots of crafting time, and take care. Bye.